dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queens.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your
Ahmadiyyah.
skin?
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so listen, I barely made it here. Okay, I do not feel well. I am feeling sick. But alas, I couldn't let the people down, okay? I couldn't let my royals down, so I had to come and give you this news. So we're not going to be here long, but I do want to talk about this press conference for this White House briefing about the shooting of Mr. Alex Pretti. Okay, so we're going to get into that. Also, the fact that Trump is saying that he's going to send the border czar, Tom Homan, to Minnesota. All right, so without further ado, let's get ready to get into it. Before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Kratz. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so that all being said, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, so hello, Nene, Nessie X, Mr. Elevation, Pearly. All right, Claudette, I see you, beloved. Okay, we the people. Let's get into it. Juju. All right, Queen Amoni Huey, Reggie is here, Trio Soul. All right, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. A big shout out to my moderators for putting in work. I see you, Charlene. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. See you, Leon.
Also like to address the chaotic scenes in Minnesota over the weekend. Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Pretti, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals. Saturday's shooting remains under active investigation by Homeland Security Investigations and the FBI. The Customs and Border Protection is also conducting their own internal review. As President Trump said yesterday, the administration is reviewing everything with respect to the shooting, and we will let that investigation play out. But let's be clear about the circumstances which led to that moment on Saturday. This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota. For weeks, Governor Walz and the Mayor Jacob Frey and other elected Democrats were spreading lies about federal law enforcement officers who are risking their lives daily to remove the worst criminal illegal aliens from our streets: murderers, rapists, pedophiles, human traffickers, and gang members. Governor Walz and Mayor Frey have shamefully blocked local and state police from cooperating with ICE, actively inhibiting efforts to arrest violent criminals. They have also used their platforms to encourage left-wing agitators to stalk, record, confront, and obstruct federal officers who are just trying to lawfully perform their duties, which has created dangerous situations threatening both these officers and the general public and Minnesotans alike. This is precisely what unfolded in Minneapolis on Saturday morning. Obstructing federal law enforcement and inciting violence against officers is wrong and illegal. This used to be a universally accepted position in the United States. Amid the hysteria, we must remember how we got here to this moment today and what this Democrat opposition is about. Former President Joe Biden and the Democrats opened America's borders for 4 years, inviting tens of millions of illegal aliens from all over the world to flood into our country. Among them, violent criminals who terrorized American communities and have inflicted devastating, permanent pain and harm on law-abiding Americans and their families. Yet we never saw outrage from Democrats or their allies in the liberal media over these horrifying crimes against U.S. citizens. The pain of American angel families was ignored and dismissed because it undermined the Democrat narrative. Innocent Americans like Jocelyn Nungray, Laken Riley, and Rachel Morin are just a few of the many victims savagely murdered by illegal alien criminals. Earlier this month, an illegal alien from Mexico with a long criminal history who came into our country under Joe Biden's administration threw a baseball-sized stone at a school bus carrying children in New Jersey and fractured the skull of an 8-year-old innocent child. President Trump promised accountability to these American families by securing the border, deporting every illegal alien who has committed crimes, especially and most importantly, violent crimes. Nearly 80 million Americans voted for him to deliver on that very promise, and he is. As the duly elected president, the president is fulfilling the will of the people by arresting and removing these threats from our country in cities from Los Angeles to New York and, yes, Minneapolis. Yet Democrat leaders in Minnesota with sanctuary city policies have actively defied federal immigration law and the will of the people. And as a result of that defiance, 2 Minnesotans have now tragically lost their lives on the streets of Tim Walz's state. It is President Trump's hope and wish and demand for the resistance and chaos to end today. That's why President Trump spoke with Governor Walz directly this morning, and he has outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota. Number 1, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota. ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning. Americans overwhelmingly want exactly what President Trump is delivering: strong borders and strict immigration enforcement against the worst illegal aliens, of which there are still hundreds of thousands to deport from the interior of our country. The most peaceful way to carry out this vital public safety mission is for Republicans and Democrats to do it together, and for state and local law enforcement to work together with federal law enforcement. We want to let cops be cops. You wouldn't know this continues to be a very popular policy position from the biased media coverage over the course of the last few days, but polling shows huge support for this exact thing President Trump is calling for. More than 80% of Americans favor deporting illegal aliens convicted of violent crimes. A country unable to deport criminals who enter it illegally is no country at all. The open borders agenda of Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and the Democrats was already on the ballot on November 5th, 2024, and it was resoundingly rejected. President Trump will never back down from his promise to deport violent criminal illegal aliens and make America safe again, and he welcomes all cooperation in that effort.
Mike Capel here, Patriot Software's founder. My dad, a World War II vet, told me to get an engineering degree in 4 years or he'd enlist me in the Marine Corps. His words did not stop my Animal House fraternity toga party experiences, but I studied my brains out and got that degree in 4 years as demanded. Little did I know that I would someday become a productive member of society, helping American businesses with their accounting and payroll at patriotsoftware.com.
All right, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt there taking a lot of questions surrounding that fatal shooting of a Minneapolis protester by a federal immigration officer. It's only adding fuel to now a fierce national debate. It's even prompted some fellow Republicans to question President Donald Trump's hardline immigration crackdown. For more, let's bring in our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, also our legal contributor, James Sample. So, Selena, just starting with you, I mean, one line that Caroline Leavitt kept saying was just let cops be cops, clearly taking the side of the immigration officers here, and that if, from what she's saying, protesters would just be calm, cool, and collected, that everything would run smoothly. But as we know, there are two sides to every story here.
Well, Kira, it's really interesting hearing the comments from the press secretary, because we're starting to see mixed messaging emerge from the White House, from the president, and some of his top officials. I mean, we did not hear her repeat some of the language that was used by the president's top aides like Stephen Miller and other officials. We saw almost immediately in the aftermath of the deadly shooting that some administration officials were calling Alex Pretti a domestic terrorist who is trying to inflict maximum damage. When pressed why they jumped to those conclusions, Leavitt notably did not defend their comments. She said she speaks for the president. She said there's an ongoing investigation. She did, however, continue some unsubstantiated attacks that we've heard from the president, blaming local officials for the deadly shooting. I just want to read to you part of what she said. She said, quote, "This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota." All of this coming as we have also seen a change in tone from the president as well in just the last few hours.
All right, and Mary Bruce, you were there. Oh, good. We've got our whole lineup now. We got James Sample. I have legal questions for you. Aaron Katursky, you, of course, have been on these shootings and what's happening in Minneapolis. But Mary Bruce, you were right there in the briefing. Karoline Leavitt still dodging the questions about domestic terrorism.
Yeah, and look, it is clear she's trying to walk a fine line here. The president is taking a very different tack now than what we saw over the weekend from his own top officials. And I asked her directly, does the president agree with Secretary Noem, with Stephen Miller, who were both very quick to label this an act of domestic terror or to call Alex Pretti himself a domestic terrorist? And Caroline said that she hadn't heard the president, use that phrase, clearly trying to put some distance between him and the language that we've heard coming from some in this administration. But when I tried to follow up and say, well, then was the president, concerned that they were essentially rushing to this judgment? She wouldn't say. She continues to stress that the president wants to, see the outcome of this investigation. But that raises questions about the integrity of the investigation. How can the American public have faith in the outcome of an investigation when the head of the department that is running this has already come out and clearly taken sides and come to a conclusion? Caroline continued when asked a similar question to that, said that the president does believe that the investigation is credible and essentially that he looks forward to learning the results of this. What is clear is that I think this administration is trying to somehow lower the temperature here, but at the same time that they are sort of, softening their language a bit, Caroline Leavitt also making very clear that this administration continues to blame Democrats, blame Governor Walz, the mayor of Minneapolis, for the fact that this violence is occurring in the first place. So while the president and the governor may have had what they've described as a productive conversation, there clearly is a lot of finger pointing going on here, and the White House is trying to walk a fine line.
Now, first off, we see the White House is very good at gaslighting and deflecting, okay, and passing off the blame. Now, none of this stuff was going on until Trump sent out those troops. And then all of the chaos has ensued. And every time something happens, they want to point the finger at the Democrats. So they want to blame it on Tim Walz. The only reason that Trump has those people there in the first place is because of his disdain for Tim Walz. Okay, all so crazy at the end of the day. That all being said, hold on, let me get this. Okay, now with that all being said, let's continue. Let's go to what the ex-police commissioner has to say about this entire situation with Alex Pretti. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
CBS News law enforcement contributor and former police commissioner for Suffolk County, New York. Rodney, how do you evaluate from a basic tactical perspective what played out early Saturday morning involving the death of Alex Pretti?
Yeah, so, Major, thank you so much for having me on the show. And first and foremost, I want to share my condolences with the Pretti family. This is an absolute tragedy that has occurred, as well as the situation that happened with Renee Good. But if you just take a look at the beginning parts of this situation, I have some questions. And when you take a look at what was the de-escalation strategy that was in place? I know there was an initial engagement with Mr. Pretti, trying to move him out of their what they called a crime scene and trying to get him back on the sidewalk. There were a couple other observers that were also engaged with the agents that got shoved into the snow and that Mr. Pretti tried to help up. But then it got to a point where the agents were in a place where they were going to put Mr. Pretti under arrest. And one of the agents observed a firearm in his back and pulled it out of his waistband. The question that I have is, did that situation get relayed over to the other agents? Did the other agents know when the one agent that pulled out the gun and they were screaming, "Gun, gun, he has a gun"? did the other agents know that at that time, Mr. Pretti was unarmed? And, you know, you could see a situation where they were trying to put his hands behind his back. It seemed like Mr. Pretti might have been resisting in some way, and his hands were not visible, which I'm sure led to a level of fear for the agents, which unfortunately led to one of the agents pulling out their firearm and unfortunately killing Mr. Pretti. So a lot of concerns, a lot of questions need to be answered. There needs to be an investigation, a neutral, unbiased partnership investigation with the federal as well as the state investigators to try to get down to the bottom of this and see what they could do to make sure these incidents don't happen going forward.
Rodney, I'm glad you raised all those questions, and I want to bore in, if I could, on what you just said about the necessity of a joint and cooperative investigation, because right now, according to the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, they will handle this investigation by themselves. The state of Minnesota has asked for access in the Renee Good matter and the Alex Pretti matter. How do you regard that request from the state? And historically, are these investigations typically cooperative and joint state federal?
So just based upon my history of seeing incidents like this being investigated, there's usually a partnership. I think we can all agree that there's a division in this country right now. And if it's being investigated by one agency, there may be some biases involved with the investigation. So I do have some concerns. I think there should be a partnership and to make sure that all the information is provided, and there's also a level of transparency, and if need be, some accountability involved as well.
You also mentioned de-escalatory options in general, and I know it's a very intense, stressful atmosphere in Minneapolis for lots of different reasons. Is the general tactical suggestion, if not training, is to de-escalate situations so they do not result in the use of deadly force? And if so, what other options did those federal officials who were convening on Alex Pretti have that they perhaps did not exercise?
Listen, you know, the one thing that I'm not going to do is Monday morning quarterback what I saw based upon the video. I know there was a little bit of resistance from the observers. I'm not sure how expanded the crime scene was that was might have been violated by the individuals that were trying to take film of the incident. But I will say this: pushing an observer into the snow is not a de-escalation tactic. Using some type of chemical irritant for somebody that's not violently resisting is not a de-escalation tactic. So, you know, just taking a look at some of the federal standards when it comes to training throughout the country for law enforcement agencies, this is not prioritized. There are no standards. And this is something that I'm hoping that all law enforcement agencies around the country take a look at. What are they doing to make sure that their agents, their officers are getting the appropriate training when it comes to civil unrest and First Amendment engagement?
Rodney Harrison, great stuff, so important. I really thank you for your time and your expertise.
Okay. Well, I find it all very interesting because what kind of resolve are they going to get to with the feds investigating themselves? Okay, they don't want the state police to have anything to do with these investigations because the truth might come out. So they just want to have themselves investigate it, and we won't get anything resolved as per usual. Now, with that all being said, Mr. Pretti's mentor came forward and did an interview with CBS to speak about what kind of person he was and whatnot. So let's get into that. And you know, here's another concerning thing. Let's not forget how they have very little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they don't have any serious qualifications when they're hiring these people to work for ICE. Okay, they're not making sure they pass the testing for illegal substances, not doing thorough background checks. Okay? We don't know if these people belong to hate groups, and I'm pretty sure that many of them likely do. Okay? They don't even know what kind of criminal history these people have or anything. Oh, and by the way, there was a report that came out, just so you know, where they said that some of the people who had been taken away, snatched up by ICE, and then later found to be citizens, and this is after ICE has snatched them up and brutalized them, put hands on them, left them bloodied. One person had a cracked skull, allegedly, but they say they were dropped off in the woods in the cold of winter, dropped off in the woods after ICE had beaten them, brutalized them, stolen from them, specifically their cell phones, wallets, identification. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. This is all so crazy. Let's continue.
The backlash after the shooting death of 37-year-old Alex Pretti in an encounter with federal agents in Minneapolis. Pretti was an ICU nurse at a veterans facility. Friends and family describe him as a good man who cared deeply about others. Police say that he had no known history of violence and no criminal record. Joining us now via Zoom is someone who knew him well. She's his former mentor in the Minneapolis VA healthcare system. It's Dr. Shakur. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. It must be surreal, I think, to know that a friend of yours, that his death has made national news. And for most of us who are seeing this story and hearing about Alex, he is now just a picture to us. We know that he's an ICU nurse, but you knew him well. What can you tell us about him before we get into the details of the shooting? Tell us about him, please.
Thank you, Gail. It's indeed been absolutely devastating and very surreal. To see our Alex have such a terrible, tragic end. And the Alex we knew, I hired him back in 2014 to work on our research studies, was just an absolutely warm, kind, and sweet individual. He was really good at making rapport with the patients that we were enrolling and veterans that were part of the study. And we got nothing but good reviews. He was a really hard worker and eventually expressed an interest in going into nursing school. So we supported his application, wrote letters for him, and then even arranged his work schedule to be more flexible so he could take nursing classes at the time. He was just dedicated to healthcare and really wanted to make a difference in his community and help his fellow citizens.
Yeah, his parents released that statement too, doctor, saying all he really wanted to do was work and help others. You know, we've learned that he was a legal gun owner, that he had a permit to carry the gun that apparently he had on the day of the shooting. Do you know why he felt the need to carry a gun?
I'm not aware of when he chose to become a gun owner, but in the part of Minneapolis where he lived, his community had quite a lot of unrest. So it wouldn't be unforeseeable that he was perhaps looking at helping defend himself or others if needed.
Well, what was your reaction, Asma, when you saw the tape that led to his death, when you saw the shooting that led to his tape and you saw the shooting that led to his death and you looked at the tape? What was your initial reaction? What did you see?
It was absolutely devastating. So first, I see Alex in a peaceful protest, and I could see Alex doing that. He was, very strong on his values for standing up for his fellow citizens, his community, his neighborhood, and had a lot of compassion. And then I see him coming to the aid of a woman that had fallen and seemed to be in need of assistance, and shielding her from an officer, and then, trying to speak or argue with the officer to help this woman. And then in turn, he gets pepper sprayed, thrown to the ground, his arms pinned behind him, 7 or 8 agents standing above him, and then they shoot him. Now, Alex was of a slight build, so in no way, shape, or form was he ever threatening. he doesn't look like he's kicking or, trying to fight back. He's essentially just, trying. He's completely defenseless, and then he's shot. It is just horrific to see.
Yeah, it's very difficult, even if you don't know Alex, to see anyone die that way. But, the investigation, we hope, is going to be ongoing and be very thorough and transparent. We thank you for your time and sharing what you knew and loved about this man. Thank you so much.
Okay, so they've already started the smear campaign. Okay, Trump and the whole administration going in, painting the man as a terrorist, acting as though he came there to commit some kind of mass shooting. Stephen Miller, one of the reporters asked Carolyn Levitt if she felt that Stephen Miller would give an apology. Of course not. Okay, he's not going to give an apology. Not that devil. Already blaming the man. Now hold on, let's go to this clip. Let's go to this clip. Well, actually, before we go to that, let's talk about Tom Homan. Okay, because they're talking about sending him to Minnesota. So around 6:15 a.m. on Monday, Fox and Friends co-host Brian Kilmeade pitched a solution to President Trump's growing political problem in Minnesota. They're saying what I would do is just bring Tom Homan in. Okay, now this is what he said. He's a Trump booster who knows the president, often watches the morning show. He volunteered the idea at about 7:15 and then again at 8:10. So Homan, the border czar and former Fox commentator, would settle things down. This is what he says, that he would settle things down. So maybe Trump was watching and maybe he wasn't, but either way, he said, I'm sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. Now, he said this 20 minutes after Kilmeade suggested it for the third time. Then all of a sudden, Trump says he's sending him there. So they say his friendly advice for Trump reflects MAGA's media's view of the administration's handling of Saturday's fatal shooting of Alex Pretti. This is pretty damaging and just an important immigration enforcement crackdown. So many pro-Trump TV shows and podcasters and commentators are defaulting to a defense of law enforcement, but fretting about how the wider public is reacting to the violent imagery from Minnesota, saying it's time to de-escalate in Minneapolis because the current enforcement is these tactics are backfiring. Okay, that's what the New York Post editorial board said in an editorial direct to Mr. President on Monday morning. The Post conservative editors claimed that the left wants a civil war and that Trump needs to provide calm leadership in response. Now, both the Post and Fox News are part of Rupert Murdoch's media empire, and Kilmeade read directly from the editorial on Monday's Fox and Friends. Okay, so with that all being said, let's go to this next clip. The last thing that we're ever going to see ICE do, in my opinion, is de-escalate a situation.
First, whoever that woman is should be protected at all costs. That woman was as close to the scene of the murder of this man this morning in Minneapolis by ICE as anybody was. And now her whereabouts unknown. Second thing, here is the video of everything leading up to that. That is a reported white man, American citizen, which shouldn't matter at this point. It's not important to us, but it is important to the context that the White House will spin out as a lie and basically blaming this man for his own murder. But this is before everything happened. That is that man. And all he is doing is simply filming ICE. They then approach him, physically accost him, and then they murder him in the street. The third thing, and this is entirely unprecedented, I've never seen or heard this in my life. Now, there are reports that ICE told the local law enforcement to GTFO, just get out of there. They tried to back them up out of the scene. Those are what the report said. But here's the thing I've never heard or seen in my life. Here is what Chief Brian O'Hara then said to federal law enforcement.
Our demand today is for those federal agencies that are operating in our city to do so with the same discipline, humanity, and integrity that effective law enforcement in this country demands.
That was a chief of police telling federal law enforcement that the cops are up here and federal law enforcement is down here. Now, for a lot of people, it's all one and the same, but this is a chief of police saying, get on our level. You are not doing the work the right way, if there is a right way to be a cop. But that is the first time I've ever heard a cop tell federal cops, you're down here, we're up here, get on our level. I don't know what the blowback or what comes from that, but that is what Brian O'Hara said. After that, he told everybody to be peaceful. That's going to be pretty hard for a city that has been violently attacked and murdered in the street over the past 2 weeks and longer than that, since thousands of federal ICE agents have been deployed to Minneapolis. Last thing, this is what the White House statement has already released. Now that if I'm not going to say it out loud. You can screenshot it and read it for yourself. They are already deflecting. They are already naming this person as dangerous, and that the ICE officers feared for their lives, even though there was half a dozen of them on top of this man at once. But that is a statement they've released. We will keep you posted and up to date on this story as it unravels out, what elected officials say, what local law enforcement is saying, what the people are saying, more importantly, because it seems that a lot of local law enforcement and local government has done little to nothing to protect people from this happening. And we will keep you posted as that.
So nefarious at the end of the day. Nothing but a bunch of lies is all we're going to get from this administration. That's it.
05 a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and less lethal officer.
I mean, do you all hear that? The lies. I mean, did you all hear that? Came there to do maximum damage. Like this man is a whole domestic terrorist. They have no shame whatsoever. I mean, this is far beyond embellishing. This is flat out blatant lies. The family absolutely needs to sue the entire Trump administration for defamation, okay? Absolutely deplorable. No empathy whatsoever. No condolences or well wishes to the family. Nothing but lies. And painting false narratives and spewing propaganda. But let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share.
Huge. Witnesses to the ICE shooting in Minnesota today just submitted sworn affidavits in a case against ICE in the state, and they're pretty revealing. So this lawsuit is looking to restrict ICE's use of force in Minnesota, and they just filed an emergency motion with the court. And this first affidavit is coming from this woman who you might have seen in the original angle who filmed it all. She says she arrived and she saw ICE agents surrounding cars and punching car windows, but she also noticed a man sort of helping traffic move more smoothly. That was Alex, the man murdered by ICE. She said both her and Alex were recording the ICE agents. They approached them and told them to back up. She did, but he stayed in the street filming them. He was only holding his phone filming them. He did not hold a firearm or reach for a firearm. She said she watched them throw Alex to the ground and that he wasn't resisting and they shot him anyway. She also debunked a statement from the Department of Homeland Security saying he did not approach anybody with a firearm. Plaintiffs in the case have also added a declaration from a pediatrician who sought to administer aid to Alex Pretti after he was shot, but according to this pediatrician, ICE would not let him, and after begging them, they eventually did, and when he got there, they appeared to be counting his bullet wounds. I mean, that is horrifying, counting bullet wounds instead of administering aid, or at least allowing people to come through to administer aid. That's what ICE is doing. This is huge.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Absolutely nefarious. Okay, but hold on. So they also had a confrontation with a female veteran. All right, snatched her out of her vehicle by her neck. This is what she says. So let's go to the footage. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
Break my fucking window. When I got into vagina's looking at is a black.
Get out of the car. Put the car in park. Get out of the car. Put the car in park. Get out of the car.
Virginia, TBN.
You know I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
I don't care what you are. You fucking move, I'll fucking tase you. Get the fuck out of the car right now. Get the fuck out of the car.
They yanked me out by my neck. They threw me to the ground. They stomped on me. They pushed my face into the ground. They put the cuffs on as tight as possible to the point where it took 6 agents to try to get them off.
What let you
Now, I want you all to pay attention to something. She said they put the cuffs on as tight as they could. It took 6 agents to get them off of her. Now you can tell she's trying to hold back tears as she's speaking. She's very emotionally upset. You know what I'm thinking? This woman and her partner were in that vehicle. Okay, just like Renee Good and her partner, her wife, were together. Could it be that they don't like these type of women? Because this is the second time we've heard about them targeting or attacking these type of women. Okay, are you all paying attention? Is that why they have such anger and disdain towards them? Because if so, that would make these attacks hate crimes. Okay, please pay attention. Let's continue.
talk about the local law enforcement working with the federal government to kind of funnel you in? What was the lead up when they get out of their vehicles, presumably, or were they
didn't get out. They drove their vehicle towards mine until ICE surrounded mine.
Okay, so they surround yours, and then how? Like they come up, they break.
And then the cops went into a parking lot. They pulled off to the side, and they watched the DHS and Homeland Security and whoever else it was assault me. And they listened to me scream for help.
Like, what I'm trying to get to is, like, did they say anything to you before they broke the window, or was it immediate?
No, it was immediate.
Immediately broke.
They said, "Get out of the fucking car, or we're taking you."
Had they stopped you at all before that? Had you had any reason to believe that you were about to be targeted before that?
They put their lights on, but they don't have any jurisdiction. As women, we're told to go to a well-lit area where we can make sure that we're safe and we're not going to be attacked by armed thugs. So we were trying to comply with what we've been taught our entire lives as women.
you're I mean, I'm getting like the sense of emotion off of you right now. Like, can you walk me through like what are you feeling in this moment?
This is not the country that I gave my life for. I took an oath, and it's the oath that they're spinning on and stomping on. And this isn't Germany. They're Nazis. They're Gestapo. They think that they're above the law. They don't care.
What was your intention when you're out there following them? Are you out there to document what they're doing, to warn your friends and neighbors? Is that you know that ICE is in your neighborhood? Like, is that what you were out there to do?
They shot my neighbor in the face this week. That's what I'm out there to prevent.
When so you're directly inspired by you know what happened.
Keith Porter, Renee Good, all of the above.
All right, you all heard that? Did you all see the bruises? Did you all see the bruises on her legs specifically? She had it on her hands and legs. Looks like they beat her. Okay, this is absolutely nefarious. Let's go to this report by Don Lemon, also known as Don Lemon. Let's get into it.
They are calling a woman in the crowd, a protester, a domestic terrorist. Watch.
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
The directive is part of a sweeping nationwide effort by U.S. immigration authorities to identify anyone and everyone trying to film their conduct. This includes not just ICE, but other Department of Homeland Security agencies like Border Patrol as well. The ultimate goal is to create a list of anti-ICE protesters, which the Trump administration believes are part of an organized network of domestic terrorists. This is some scary shit, guys. If you are in your car, if you are on a street, if you are in a public space, on the sidewalk, on a public road or whatever, you are free to use your phone or whatever and videotape. 1984, George Orwell, if you know that, then you realize like this is what's happening right now. Is this constitutional?
Okay, so they're trying to take away people's rights. And that's why I'm saying MAGA, the foolish minions who are going along with this, do not realize that these things are going to start to negatively impact them as well. Okay, I guess they don't get it. Let's go to the next clip. Likes up, everyone. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
It was about a year ago, back when it was confirmed that Donald Trump won the presidential election, that regardless of who's in office, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Jill Stein, Gavin Newsom wins, J.D. Vance wins, the Black community has always felt the full brunt of the boot of the American government on our necks, regardless. We've never really had a breathing space, even when Barack Obama was elected. So it's very interesting to see the Hispanic, Latino, and even the white community play around panicking because the American government is now fully geared up, armed, and ready to come for them. It's interesting. And like my favorite quote to sum this up is, the game's no longer fun now that the rabbit has a gun now, huh?
Well, you all heard that. At the end of the day, that's very true. And I already told you all that now other people are starting to see what Black people have been dealing with all along. And those same people that made nefarious excuses to justify it when the cops did it to us are now making excuses, okay, on the behalf of the victims. Okay, when they never gave us that benefit of the doubts. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that being said, listen. So Jared Kushner. Now, I've told you all how Trump has been making all of this money. He and his family, a report came out a few days ago saying that they had acquired $1.4 billion thus far. With that all being said, do you all remember when Trump was talking about purchasing the Gaza Strip and turning it into a resort? Well, now Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has come out and unveiled a slideshow which he outlined a master plan for Gaza. Okay, now I want you all to see this. He's outlined this as a master plan for Gaza. All right, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
A master plan. We brought in, I think, Yakir Gabai, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential. And this is for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea of saying, let's build a free zone, and then we have a Hamas zone. And then we said, you know what, let's just plan for catastrophic success. Hamas signed a deal to demilitarize. That is what we are going to enforce. People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rafa will start with. This will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition. And then New Gaza. It could be a hope. It could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment. Once this starts going, we think there should be 100% full employment and opportunity for everybody there. And we have a lot of data on what can be, but we think that this really gives the Gazan people an opportunity to live their aspirations. But it all starts with security, and it all starts with governance. Final note I'll just say on the Board of Peace, which is that all the lessons we're doing is we're basically studying the best practices from all over the world, and we're watching who does education the best, who does healthcare delivery the best. All of these things it's not secret IP. All this is IP that the Board of Peace is going to make public, and we want to encourage all the countries to be able to follow these best practices. A lot of the things that President Trump is doing in America, if they're working, we should all be copying them. If we find what's working in other countries, we should be copying them too. And so what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation, which is something that when we got this deal done, we didn't really find too much expertise or know-how on how to do it. So as we're creating this system, hopefully it's something that we can just document these learnings and make them available to all else who want to use them in the future. So demilitarization, this is something we're starting now that we have a new government in Gaza. This government will be working with Hamas on the demilitarization to really take the principles that were agreed to in the document to the next phase. And hopefully that will be successful. Without that, we can't rebuild. So if Hamas does not demilitarize, that will be what holds back Gaza and the people of Gaza from achieving their aspiration, and that's very important. So the next 100 days, we're going to continue to just be heads down and focused on making sure this is implemented. We continue to be focused on humanitarian aid, humanitarian shelter, but then creating the conditions to move forward. So thank you. Final point I'll just make is this is really only possible because of the work of so many people and President Trump's great leadership. So we did a master.
Okay, y'all heard that? Said they did a master plan. Okay, and you see how it's tied directly to Trump's new Board of Peace. Isn't that interesting? Well, isn't that interesting? Sounds like another grift. Okay, for the Trump crime family. That's what that sounds like. And then he's always talking about everybody's getting rich. The only ones getting rich are him and his family. Now, I find that interesting. Also, per the other report, notice how they said, the ICE agent said that that woman's name was going into their database. So ICE is keeping a database, not for criminals, but for anyone who opposes them, anyone who's out there recording them. I find that interesting. So these will likely be people that will be targeted, no less, because I don't think he was joking at all. I don't think that was just some idle threat. So now listen, this just in from 4 hours ago. Trump abandons attack mode as Minneapolis shooting the backlash grows. Oh, really? So now that people are going in on him, he wants to soften his approach. Okay, hold on, beloveds. Hold on. I'm looking for another article because this one's not allowed me to read it. Anyway, I guess we won't be seeing that. Well, here's the thing. That doesn't surprise me either. If Trump wants to start trying to backpedal because he's getting a lot of backlash, that's what he usually does. Okay, he goes back and forth. He's very disingenuous. He doesn't do anything that's or do or say anything that's authentic. He just basically says what he thinks people want to hear very often. And it's interesting that none of them have given any sort of condolences to the family of the victim. Reggie said that was a slip of the tongue. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm about to be out of here. However, I will be back in the morning. I'll be back bright and early in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Everyone, in the meantime, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Denise said he was in Rittenhouse. Exactly. Yeah, and that's interesting. That's exactly how they paint him. They tried to paint this man as though he were a Kyle Rittenhouse. But remember, everything that Kyle Rittenhouse did, they said that he was justified for it. Okay, they praised him for doing it. And then they want to go in on this victim. Absolutely amazing. The lies that these devils will tell and the links that they will go to. With that all being said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always, beloveds, remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got